Okay. All right. What is going on? You got if you see the title of this, um, first of all, shout out to Urban Ninja because he sent me something that he literally just came across, and it upset him, and now it has agitated me because I didn't want to say this, but I've been trying to do things other than talk about Power Rangers all the time, especially knowing the fact of the unfortunate news that we got about Power Rangers being at this stuck predicament, basically dead, almost almost John Brown near dead because there's no other content coming out except for the video game, and since the Boom Studios is now done with Power Rangers, they've been bought out. There's nothing left except for people whining and complaining and trying to come up with things that they don't even know about. Further content. I'm gonna just show y'all this. Okay, so yeah, this is by Screen Rant. The title reads, "Sorry, Kimberly, but Power Rangers is the greatest Pink Ranger was only introduced in the 2000s." Okay. Okay. And judging by the background of it, y'all, you already know what he's gonna be. What this person, uh, uh, who made this article, Marcelo Liet, published this 2 days ago. You already know he's gonna be going with this. So it reads as follows. I hope you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see me. Um, Kimberly is one of the most iconic Power Rangers of all time, but I believe that the greatest Pink Ranger in the franchise was only introduced in the 2000s. That's dumb, compared to, especially knowing the fact that there have been a lot of other Pink Rangers who have come before her and have been just as great. Um, Although most seasons of the show take place in the same continuity, Power Rangers chronology can be split into a few different areas. The 1990s saw the Zordon era, which refers to every season between Mighty Morphin and In Space. After Zordon sacrificed himself to save the universe, Power Rangers started to release standalone stories that could be watched without any previous knowledge of the franchise. Amy Jo Johnson's Kimberly Hart was the first Pink Ranger in the franchise. She remained on the show until midway through Mighty Morphin Season 3, and that is true. After which Kimberly was replaced by Kat, the original Pink Ranger who still returned in Turbo, Power Rangers movie, although she did not have Ranger powers. Yeah, okay, he's talking about the actor and the character Kimberly did appear in Power Rangers Turbo the movie, and she did not have her Pink Ranger power. She did not. Turbo movie was marked Amy Jo Johnson's final Power Rangers appearance, with Kimberly as cameos with her helmet on in other seasons. Kimberly will always be one of my original heroes, but it's Jen from Time Force who elevated the meaning of Pink Ranger. So let me get this straight. Let me understand this correctly. And you know, this is really biased because honestly I get it. A lot of Power Ranger fans do everything they possibly can to not talk about Mighty Morphin, despite the fact that they had the most memorable characters. And not to say that Time Force wasn't memorable, but because it was. It honestly was. But we're not gonna sit here and try to act like uh uh freaking Lightspeed Rescue wasn't there. Uh Wild Force wasn't there. Even though people don't consider the white Tiger to be considered a Pink Ranger. She still had some pink on her costume. I that because of how she acted. But we're not going to try to pretend that freaking Lost Galaxy's Pink Ranger didn't have a memorable story. That freaking shoot, Turbo and Zeo didn't have a memorable story with for their Pink Rangers. Like come on, we're not going to try to assume that or make this blanket statement that Jen, even though she is a badass, she is, and she is tough. We're not going to try to sit here and just paint this brush that the other Pink Rangers weren't as tough, because they were. But let's continue. Time Force Jen Scott's Power Rangers Best Pink Ranger. Power Rangers Time Force was released in 2001. Time Force's Jen Scott's, played by Erin Cahill, is one of the best Power Ranger characters of all. Arguably the saga's greatest Pink Ranger. Jen was the first female Ranger to lead her team in a full. Okay, this is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have right here. Jen never led that team. Never led the team. When she first got the powers, they weren't even, first of all, if you even remember the story, they weren't even supposed to take the morphers. Jen and the rest of them that traveled with her back into the past to stop Ransik, they weren't supposed to take the morphers. Actually, and to be honest with you, they were only supposed to do one job, but got caught up in a whole bunch of different mess until she met Wes and recognized that she looked, and this article does say it, that he looks just like Alex. But even then, she did not lead them. She guided them until they found a Ranger, and then Wes stepped up. Wes stepped up and led the other Rangers, and led the Time Force. Hell, when Alex came back, and it's, you know what? I'm stuttering because I'm upset, because I watched that whole show. I know what went down. This article leaves out that Alex just died in battle. He did not die. For anyone who watched that show, Alex survived. During the show, he commanded the Shadow Winger. And then he showed up midway in the show, took Wes's morpher from him, and tried to lead. Now, did Jen step up and say she was gonna? No, she never stepped up. She just let Alex be. There's like drill sergeant, and then blame them for messing up the future. And then when Wes and took his morpher back. Well, actually, he didn't even take his morpher back. Jen took the morpher from Alex and then gave it back to Wes. Because they said they would rather, well, they want him to be a leader and not Alex. So I don't know where the fuck this guy's brain is at, and I don't know what he was watching, but he clearly didn't watch the whole thing. Clearly didn't watch. She did not lead the team in the entire season. She did not lead the team. She was the headstrong, second in command to Wes. When Wes was doing other stuff. But other than that, and that was very little. Very little did that happen. And during half the time, she was with Wes doing stuff. Like, what? The Alien Rangers were led by Delfino, but only appeared in episodes. And the first Pink Ranger to do so. The Alien Rangers were led by Delphina. Just okay. What the fuck does the Alien Rangers have to do with this article? What does the Alien Rangers and the White Ranger, which she was the leader, even in the Super Sentai, she was the leader. What does she have to do with this entire article? Because as far as you're concerned, as the Ranger fans are concerned, the White Alien Rangers was not considered a pink. Jen took on the role of Time Force leader after their Red Ranger, Alex, died in battle. No, she did not. The fact that Alex had proposed to Jen just before this battle made the Red Ranger's death even more tragic. He didn't die! He didn't die! Time Force is very mature Power Ranger season, and one of my favorite entries. There is a level of character development in Time Force that I had yet to see in Power Rangers, resulting in the show where every Ranger feels like they have a voice of their own. Characters are complex and well developed, but Jen's story is a standout. From a responsibility to lead her team into a dangerous mission in the past to a complicated relationship with the Red Ranger. Jen was at the center of Time Force's best episode. Okay. It is difficult to compare any Rangers to the original ones considering how iconic Jason, Billy, Zach, Kimberly, and Tommy were. That said, without considering nostalgia, Time Force's Jen was more interesting character than Kimberly. Oh my god. Mighty Morphin was a very simple and formulaic show where everything was solved within 20 minutes. So was Mighty Morphin, and so was every other Power Ranger series. What are you talking about? Meaning that the Rangers rarely got to grow as characters. This is how I know he didn't watch any Power Ranger show. This is how I know he watched a few of them, a few episodes of Time Force, and just stopped. This is how I know. this is how I know. This is how I know. Time Force was very much a kids show, as Mighty Morphin, but the former had higher stakes and a much better villain. Wow. So okay, so we just gonna ignore Lost Galaxy's villain. We're just gonna ignore that villain. We're just gonna ignore Power Rangers in Space villain. We're just gonna ignore Andros' sister. We're gonna ignore that, huh? Right? What about the demons? What about Impus from Lightspeed Rescue? What about them? Huh? What the fuck is this bullshit? There are many great things about Time Force, but Jen's story was arguably the best of them. No, it wasn't. As a result, Jen Scott was a more layered character than her predecessors. Additionally, Time Force Pink Ranger got to do something the original one never did. She never led the power. You know, it kills me that that this person keeps talking about how she led them. She did not lead. She did not lead them. What is this? And you know what? You know what's crazy? After in the episode where she gave Wes the morpher and took it back because she just needed his DNA to unlock the other morphers. Alex, that was the Red Ranger and the leader. She couldn't lead. Fuck that shit. She could not lead. They were having trouble with Rancic and the monster. And then Wes comes in again. Wes nutted up and led them. And said that he's going to take it serious. Having the Pink Ranger be responsible for the escape of the mutant who killed her fiance was a great creative decision that made Jen a very interesting character from the start. The fact that Wes, the new Red Ranger, somehow looked exactly like her fiance made it all even more fascinating. There are many great things about Time Force, but Jen's story was arguably the best of them. That is the dumbest thing ever. And then he goes on to talk about the damn comics. Then he go on to talk about the damn comics, which have nothing to do with the show. The show. Oh my fucking god. After the end of Time Force, Jen Scott returned to Reinforcements of the Future crossover, but never again. Jen remains the only Pink Ranger to lead her. Oh my god. He keeps talking about leading the team. Okay, I'm done with this article. Let me explain something to y'all. This is very important. Then, while it was very powerful and involved love, that was not the only iconic story a Pink Ranger has had. And yeah, without even talking about Mighty Morphin, right? Not even going to talk about Mighty Morphin. I'll just talk about this. In Lost Galaxy, the Pink Ranger died. Pink Ranger in Lost Galaxy died. She sacrificed herself to save. I want to believe. From what I try, she saved Cassie. Power Rangers in Space Pink Ranger. She saved Cassie and died. And then after she died, guess who came to take the sword of the Pink Ranger? And the spirit of the former Pink Ranger blessed her with it. Throne from it. And you telling me that Jen's story was the top one? No. No. Yeah, it was a strong story, of course. But she did not lead her team. She didn't have a big of a moment like Lost Galaxy. I'm sorry, she didn't. I'm sorry. No. What? About here. And you know what? I'm gonna go a step further. Wild Forces, I call her Pink Ranger, even though she's the White Ranger. Still, that Ranger, right? There was a story in which she encountered, I think it was her grandfather, who taught her martial arts, and she didn't want to let him down. So she tried to make it seem like she was still doing martial arts, not telling him that she's a Wild Force Power Ranger. And then when he saw her do the stance that he taught her, he was proud of her. And that held a moment. And shoot, not even just that. The whole thing with Lightspeed Rescue. Their Pink Ranger having to come to terms with her brother is alive. And that whole trauma of their father, the commander, having to choose between her and her brother. And having a demon take your brother away. Nigga, he's gone for good. Turns he's evil? That's not a crazy story? There have been many Pink Rangers throughout the whole series of the shows that have just as much powerful. And then to come up with this narrative that she led the team in the show? No. Yeah, sure. In the comics, she led them with Wes. They were together because Wes is what was the leader. It still is. But she did not lead the team in the full season. No, she did not. That is a lie. This is one of the reasons why. This is one of the main reasons why I don't really like to do so many Power Rangers videos, because I keep encountering motherfuckers like this that think they know what they're talking about, when clearly they have such a hate boner. Well, not necessarily a hate boner, but this resentment for Mighty Morphin, because they're so tired of being done to death. Well, guess what, bitch? It's the most iconic one. It's the one that's making the money. I don't care if you know so much about the other teams. The world doesn't know about the other teams. Is that your fault? No. That's the company. That's the Bond's fault. That's Disney's fault. That's the people that own it right now. That's Hasbro's fault. And that they only see Mighty Morphin as profitable. But then again, can you really blame them if everyone keeps buying Mighty Morphin shit? Can you really blame them? No. No one is sitting here and saying that the other shows weren't lit, because they were. I know for a fact they are. My favorite shows to this day, Power Rangers series to this day, will always be Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm. Always and forever. But I am not going to sit here and somebody spouting something that isn't true. Because you're not talking about the comics. Yeah, you hinted a little bit at the comics. The whole collaboration with all the Pink Rangers. But to say that Jen led the team, the Time Force team? No. And you mentioned a little bit of the crossover. Motherfucker. The team wasn't behind her when Jen came back. Jen didn't even appear in the suit. Jen appeared with a freaking rifle and a cloak, doing her own thing herself. Rip and the others and Katie, they were not there with her. They were doing other missions. But you didn't say that in this article. You didn't talk about that in this article. You only talked about what you... The only 2 episodes that you saw. And I know it's only 2. I just fucking said. Because you didn't mention the fact that Wes was alive. You didn't mention the fact that he commanded the Shadow Winger. You didn't mention the fact that he came back and took the role of the Red Ranger and the leader. You didn't mention that. You didn't mention the team taking Jen herself taking the Morpher away from Alex and tossing it to Wes. Tell him to come back here because we need you as the leader. Because ain't shit working, and the shit wasn't working. If you had seen the episode, they were getting their ass handed to them. They were getting their asses handed to them when Alex took the lead. I don't want to talk, but you know what? I shouldn't be surprised. He tries to always do some stuff like this. Always. They leave everything out, but focus on one little thing and then blow it out of proportion and then come up with a lie. Something that did not happen. It always happens. And that's exactly why this article site is about to go out of business now. That's all I got to say. I gotta go eat. I have to go. I was making food while Urban Ninja let me know about this. Y'all have a good day. I'm gonna go eat. All right, I'm out. Peace.